Hello, hello. Today we're here to talk about the new Atlas game, Metaphor Refantazio, and more specifically, the first dungeon. So, see that for every character, you have the choice between three archetypes, and you can give any archetype to any character. You can even play the same archetype twice, like give two characters the same archetype. Now, the question I want to ask is, what is the best setup for the first dungeon? The first dungeon, if you're playing on hard mode, can be pretty difficult, can be pretty brutal. So let's see. First of all, let's just not waste time. You need to have all three of them. Don't play full warrior. Don't play full seekers. Now it could be a fun challenge if you're just replaying the demo, absolutely. But if this is your first playthrough and you're in hard mode, I highly recommend just playing all three classes. Now, does it matter what you give to what character? Yes and no. Technically, you would be able to clear by just giving any class to any character. Now, there's a problem. Stroll and Grias, well, especially Stroll, has very specific stats. So Will, I called him Will because apparently that's the kind of name, but you can personalize his stats, which means that it doesn't really matter what archetype you give him, because at the end you will be able to play him like that. But Stroll is definitely made to be played with physical archetypes, and for now the only purely physical archetype you have is the warrior. So Stroll will stay with the warrior archetype he gets at the beginning. I do not recommend changing it, at least not right off the bat. Obviously you will change it later, but for this dungeon I think the most optimal choice is to keep Stroll on the warrior. Now this is obviously just min-maxing. Some people might find it cringe, some people might find it tryhardy, some people might find it interesting. At the end of the day, you do what you want, but if you want to optimize this shit, well, you gotta keep the warrior on the warrior. So the question I found myself trying to answer is, who do we give the Seeker to and who do we give Mage? Most importantly, when you get Grias, well, Grias doesn't have any XP on any archetype, and so you're just like, what do I give him? You have choices. Well, I've seen a lot of people switch Will to Mage, and then give Seeker to Grias because Grias doesn't look like a Mage. Now, you're right. Grias doesn't look like a mage. He looks like he would have the Seeker or the Warrior archetype. But the most optimal choice, let's just not waste time. The most optimal choice is to give the mage to Grias for a simple reason. You've been using the Seeker archetype on Will for quite a bit now. Basically for all the beginning, for the boss fights, for the forest dungeon right after you beat the first human. And so the Seeker archetype of Will is gonna be around level 3, around rank 3, by the time you get to make this big decision at the beginning of the first dungeon, or the first real dungeon. And so you will have access to more spells, which means that it's just not optimal to switch Will off the Seeker. It might not sound that complicated. Most people will be like, isn't that obvious? Well, yes, but when you see Grias, you don't immediately think that the most optimal choice is to put him mage. But yes. Also, to end this little guide, because I do want to give something of value before you guys leave, absolutely do not learn new archetypes on Grias. So here you see you have options to like learn them. It wastes Magla, which is limited, and Grias is not really part of the main party later on in the story. You even see it in the trailers. You do not play him. You play Stroll, Will, and 2 other characters. So for now, you could unlock new archetypes on Stroll if you want, on Will if you want, especially Will. I feel like having multiple archetypes on Will is very good since it's versatile, but do not waste your Magla on Grias. That is an advice that is just objective at this point. This is not just my opinion. It is a waste of Magala to give more than one archetype to Grace. So yeah, we'll just end it here. I don't like making tutorials or guides a bit too long. So the best setup for the first dungeon, easy. You go. Seeker on the main character, Warrior on Stroll, and the Mage on the Grace. If you're playing on normal mode, do what you want, do what you find is fun. If you want to play like more roleplay-ish and give like the classes to the character that fits them according to you, go ahead. If you're playing on hard mode, good luck. The dungeon is not that hard, but not easy at all. And have fun playing the game. See ya.